You're watching KCCI, Channel 8, Des Moines, Iowa's news leader and home of live Super Doppler. This is KCCI News Channel 8 at 10.
I've never been in trouble, so I just got scared and left.
The man who faked his own death explains from his jail cell why he did it. Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Friday. The man accused of vandalizing several local churches here says he faked his own death because he wanted a fresh start.
Tonight's top story features a jailhouse interview with Perkins. News Channel 8's Eric Hansen live in Des Moines, and Eric, Perkins will be coming back here to Des Moines to face charges. Is that correct?
That's right, Jeanette. Before long, he will be back here in Polk County to face charges in relation to those break-ins in Windsor Heights, West Des Moines, and Clive. But Perkins blames his crimes on getting involved with the wrong people.
In a jail cell outside Denver, Michael Perkins is wearing the outfit he was trying to avoid, an orange prison jumpsuit. He admits he was there when several Des Moines area churches were burglarized earlier this year. But he claims his 3 roommates are more to blame.
I kind of took part in it, but I never, I don't know, I just kind of tagged along, and then it turned out that I was the main person.
After an earlier court appearance, Perkins says he wanted to leave his past and his problems behind. That's why he says he left a suicide note in his car at Saylorville Lake and ran.
I just was scared and wanted to start over because my attorney seemed like he was against me.
While authorities searched for his body, he hid out in Colorado. He chose Denver because of their hockey team.
Avalanche. I like the Avalanche. I don't know, I just wanted something away from Iowa that would be decent, and I just looked up Denver and I liked it.
After a few days, Perkins says he called his wife back here in Des Moines, letting her know he was safe and told her where he was hiding.
I came out here, and then she came out here, and she had a job, and for her tax papers or something, found out where she was living and saw me there.
The man who had vanished for a month and a half reappeared. He knows he'll remain in prison attire for a while, but once he's released, he wants to leave Iowa again, leaving his problems behind for good.
When this is all over with, I want to come back. Since there's a lot of jobs out here and stuff, I want to just second chance at life.
And just tonight, Michael Perkins entered a guilty plea to domestic abuse charges, a claim made by his wife, who incidentally just told Perkins yesterday that she is pregnant. Perkins will spend the next 10 days in that Colorado jail for that charge. Then he can be extradited back here to Des Moines for those charges related to the church break-ins.
Sounds like he has a few hurdles to cross over before he starts his life anew.
That's right.
All right, Eric Hansen reporting live from Des Moines.
Highway 69 is back open tonight following a deadly school bus crash that closed the busy road for several hours late this afternoon and this evening. About 4 o'clock, a North Polk school bus collided with a co-op truck just east of Alleman. The driver of the truck was dead at the scene. The bus did not have any school children on board at the time. It landed on its side in the ditch, and rescue crews had to pry the 2 vehicles apart before the driver of the truck could be freed.
Well, under the circumstances, I think they worked out pretty well. We had one gentleman pinned in the vehicle, and he's been extricated.
The truck driver who died has been identified as 51-year-old Kenneth Thiel of Ankeny. The bus driver, 42-year-old Keith Gurius of Slater, was not seriously hurt.
A high-speed chase ended with 2 people dead near Colfax last night. 24-year-old Chad Smith and his passenger, 57-year-old William Cogger, died when their car slammed into a semi-truck. Now, the video you're seeing is from a Jasper County car that was following the Smith car. It was traveling fast before it crashed. Those who knew William Cogger, one of the victims, say he was mentally challenged, and they believe Smith may have taken advantage of him.
Yeah, it was a very poor or sad situation, I guess I better say. Just one of those unfortunate things, and I think he went before his time, but...
Well, I was heartbroken because of Billy, and because of Chad, too. Both of them lost their life for no reason.
Investigators do suspect alcohol may have played a factor in this crash.
Police in Story and Polk counties are asking for your help. They're trying to crack a rather unusual theft ring. The police say the criminals go to great lengths to steal thousands of dollars worth of merchandise from area department stores. It's very interesting just how they do it. News Channel 8's Chris Nagus shows us more about this crime, which was caught on tape.
This is a new and different scheme.
From the surveillance tape, these 2 men look like normal customers. until they start doing something unusual.
So there you see the contents came out of the box.
First, one man empties out a box that has some inexpensive merchandise. Then he walks over to the electronics department.
And of course, the object is to get a more expensive item.
After picking up a DVD player, both men head back to the empty box to make the switch. Remember, the price tag on the first box is for a much cheaper item.
It appears that the individual in the chair has plastic tape to seal the box down. The individual in the front appears to just be engaged in some distraction.
Moments later, a woman picks up the box and heads to the cash register. Her name is Pamela Nelson. She is arrested at the door. The two men got away, but the county attorney believes their names are Russ and Tony. And because this has happened in several stores, there is a warning for store clerks.
If they see somebody who doesn't want the cashier to touch the box or lift it up, they already have it ready with the barcode ready to be scanned, and the person looks nervous, they might want to look and see if the top of the box has been resealed.
It's a clever crime caught on tape. Please hope you can help them find these unwanted shoppers. In Ames, Chris Nagus, KCCI News, Channel 8.
If you think you know who either of the men are, you can contact the Polk or Story County Sheriff's Departments.
Our quick look at news around Iowa tonight begins with a surprising request from Luke Helder, the accused mailbox bomber. The 21-year-old accused of placing pipe bombs in 5 states has waived his preliminary hearing. The hearing would be used to determine if there is sufficient evidence against Helder. One law expert says it appears Helder and his attorney are trying to reach a deal with prosecutors.
Well, it is official as of tonight. Iowa lawmakers will be coming back to Des Moines for a second special session on May 28th. Lawmakers will have to decide how to cover the deep budget shortfalls for the state for both next year and the current fiscal year that will end pretty soon on June 30th. Governor Vilsack and lawmakers agree the only way to cover the current shortfall is by dipping into reserve funds and transferring money from other areas.
2 faculty members with Iowa State's journalism school have returned to their administrative duties. Chairman John Egme and Associate Chair Joel Geske were removed from those duties 2 weeks ago after complaints of racial tension among staff members. President Greg Geoffrey reinstated the two while a university committee determines if the complaints are credible. President Bush today answered critics who claim the September 11th terror attacks may have been prevented. Bush insists he did not ignore any warning signs. And although the administration was warned terrorists may try to hijack planes, Bush says there was no way of knowing the planes would be turned into missiles and crashed into buildings.
Was going to use airplanes to kill on that fateful morning, I would have done everything in my power to protect the American people.
Some Democrats are still calling for an investigation, and they want to see classified memos issued by the FBI and the CIA before the attacks.
By the way, last night on our News at 10, one of the reporters stated that President Bush may have known that hijackers were planning to fly a plane into the Pentagon. That report, of course, was in error. The president had been warned that terrorists may try to hijack airplanes, but at the time there was no information that hijackers would try to fly the planes into buildings.
Right now it is the weekend and time to turn our attention to the weather. I think it's going to be pretty good, but a little cool for my liking there, John.
No water skiing this weekend. Sunshine out there, temperatures on the cool side. Cool enough, in fact, that there is a frost advisory tonight across areas of northern and central Iowa. This includes Boone and Fort Dodge up toward Mason City and northwest Iowa, where temperatures could be down to the low to mid 30s for a few hours, and some of the emerging vegetation could have a little trouble up there. We'll talk about the temperatures and what we're going to see over the weekend in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, John.
Well, this might make you feel a little uncomfortable if you had pizza tonight, but there's a research group that's going to tell us just how many calories are packed into the popular pies, and it's not a pretty picture.
Lovely.
Special Olympians from across the state are being recognized in Ames today. I'm Emily Gibbons. I'll have that story coming up.
And see how some Iowa middle school students became members of an international opera company. Much more still to come. Stick around.
Now it's not, this will be fine.
You're watching KCCI News Channel 8 at 10. Iowa's news leader. With Kevin Cooney, Jeanette Trumpeter, Heidi Soliday Sports, and meteorologist John McLaughlin with exclusive live Super Doppler weather. This is KCCI News Channel 8.
mission of Special Olympics is, you know, to make the lives of the mentally handicapped better through sports training and competition.
Special Olympians show how rewarding the journey can be as they compete in Ames this weekend. Athletes from across Iowa crowded the Iowa State campus for the annual competition.
And News Channel 8's Emily Gibbons was there too. Emily, just how many athletes did show up?
3,000 disabled athletes competed, and the events were anything from bocce ball and the long jump to tennis and track.
On your marks, set.
It's not entirely about competition.
Everybody's a winner.
It's about what the athletes learn each step of the way.
They build better self-esteem through the training and the competition.
It's easy for you?
Yeah.
Tony Dysert is a 40-year-old who's competed since he was 4. His mom says he's learned a lot in those 36 years.
You're a winner whether you get first place, second place, or what. You did the best you could, and that's all we can ask.
Longtime athletes like Tony say the preparation to get here can be exhausting.
We usually raise our arms and stretch our arms.
He knows how to warm up and cool down and all this. He's been doing it for so long.
And when the Special Olympians cross the finish line, the payoff can be great. The best part of the day for some of the athletes, the medals, and I got to do the honors. Congratulations. Thank you. Even basking in all the Olympic glory, no one forgets the golden rule of the Special Olympics.
I didn't know where he was going, but he was going to hug another participant because she got first place and he got second place. So it's just, that's why I said it's just great. It just makes your heart go pity-pat.
They get lost in that world, and they're much more comfortable when they're 3,000 mentally handicapped here, and they're just enjoying each other's company.
12 athletes from Iowa go to the world competition in Dublin next summer. They'll pick those 12 sometime in August.
And you are right. You did get the honors when you get to reward those athletes.
They're great.
We could learn a lot of life lessons from those.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Emily.
On a much different note, how many of you picked up a pizza for dinner tonight? If you did, chances are you also picked up way too many calories. A national watchdog group checked out pizzas at 6 major chains around the country. One slice of Pizza Hut's Big New Yorker sausage pizza has the same number of calories as a single Big Mac. And the worst pizzas for calorie and fat content, they're the ones that have extra cheese, whether it's on top or hidden in the crust.
Well, let's move on. A group of Western Iowa students will take an overseas field trip this summer. We will see how an international exchange of ideas turned into the opportunity of a lifetime for these students. That's coming up.
And chilly overnight temperatures the next several days. Details straight ahead.
This live Super Doppler 8 forecast is sponsored by Menards. Keeping Central Iowa ahead of the storm. Your live Super Doppler 8 forecast.
Wrapping up a very nice day across the region today. Temperatures a little cool, but sunshine, light winds, all in all, pretty good situation. Over the next couple nights, though, it's going to get chilly. 53 right now, skies clear, winds out of the north 7 miles per hour. Notice the dew point temperature, a measure of how much moisture is in the air. It is at 27, and when the air is that dry, it cools off quickly, and as winds diminish later tonight, we'll be down into that 39, 40-degree range down there. Close to that anyway across central Iowa. 36% humidity and the pressure is steady at 30.18. No school net information tonight, so we'll move on to the statewide situation. 45 up in Mason City, and there's even some cold air working in around Carroll and Audubon right now. Fort Dodge at 52, 51 down Lamoni, Ottumwa at 50, and over in Davenport 43 degrees. But against those north central, northwest counties where things get a little bit chilly tonight. Across the upper Midwest, International Falls already at 39 degrees. Fargo at 46 is Sioux Falls 45. Cold air working its way all the way south around Springfield, Missouri right now, just 50 degrees. Skies are clear across the entire region. We had some thin cloudiness over this evening. That went away with sunset tonight. Any precipitation well off to our south and east tonight, with the storm system currently affecting the eastern section of the country. Cold air will be with us. Winds will remain out of the north to northeast overnight, becoming a little more northwesterly during the day tomorrow. One area of high pressure moves out, another one sinking in, so it looks like all the way through about Tuesday, we're going to stay dry and fairly cool across the state. But at least we'll have some sunshine with the clouds. Temperatures as we head through the overnight hours, again right now mainly in the 40s and 50s, but by early morning that cold air seeps into the region again, very dry air cooling off quickly. Most of northern Iowa will be in the low to mid-30s. Here in central Iowa, upper 30s to around 40-degree mark. We warm a little bit, again, quite a bit of sunshine during the day. Tomorrow should see low to mid-60s across areas of south Iowa. Here in central Iowa, right around 60 degrees looks like a pretty good bet. And again, tonight and probably the next several nights, we'll be dealing with a little bit of patchy frost, especially low-lying areas up in northern Iowa. 37 here in the metro for tonight. Heading into tomorrow, winds will be fairly light out of the north, just 5 to 10, 59 degrees, and on into the extended forecast. Sunday, again, a cool day, 60 degrees, 63 on Monday. Weather system approaching on Tuesday will bring southerly winds 69, windy on Wednesday with some scattered thunderstorms, temperatures in the mid-70s.
Cool temperatures make all that yard work this weekend seem a lot better, won't they? Instead of going out there sweating, it'll be nice and cool.
I like to soak up the rays at the same time. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, John.
Or for those who are gearing up for some gardening this weekend, the Des Moines Register offers some tips on sprucing up your landscape. And Register editor Paul Anker will moderate the Republican gubernatorial debate. We will have a preview of that.
And you can read about a little-known way to get inexpensive internet service in tomorrow's Des Moines Register.
Carson, Iowa, Riverside Middle School. Would you believe it's home to an international opera company? It is. I'm Amy Josie. It's coming up from your Western Iowa Live Link. We'll tell you how it happened.
Closed captioning of KCCI News Channel 8 is sponsored by the Iowa Clinic, providing excellence in health care. Find out more at iowaclinic.com.
There is a group of Iowa middle schoolers who did a rather unusual thing. They spent the school year writing an original opera.
Now they have the chance to perform their opera overseas. Western Iowa Live Link reporter Amy Josias introduces us to the choir from Carson.
The bet is off. Now I can sing a stupid idea and I
Meet Zach and Mitch, two performers from the Sweet Am Opera Company based in Carson, Iowa, out of Riverside Middle School.
You agreed, you thought of it too. Don't blame me, you're a part of the crew. The bet's off.
Carol Forstall, the school's music director, suggested to her music class, let's create an opera.
I thought it was pretty crazy.
Well, it took some convincing, but Forstall finally won them over.
We're the first school in the United States to attempt this kind of an exchange.
The Riverside students team up with a group from Helsingborg, Sweden. Over the internet, they swap ideas about the storyline, sets, and music.
Without the internet and stuff, it wouldn't even be possible. We wouldn't be doing this. So.
Together, they've done it. They've written a story.
These two sisters, they just don't get along. They've never gotten along.
With a few twists and turns.
But when she comes back, these two guys make a bet over her.
They've even written the music.
Writing the actual piano parts.
While learning a lot along the way.
Be more of a teamwork person.
Like how to communicate.
Use like power tools and stuff.
And in the end...
Actually, like, whoa, we actually did this.
Is that great? All right.
In Carson, Amy Josie, KCCI News Channel 8.
And up next in sports, it could be the Iowa Cubs' last game with Wonder Boy Mark Pryor on the mound. We'll find out how Pryor and the Cubs did down in New Orleans.
And the big Cubs could use a little help from somewhere to pull them out of their losing streak. We'll see if they could end a 7-game slump against Milwaukee in sports.
Tonight's 8 Sports is sponsored by Walmart.
We're in a track and field mood tonight here in the Sports Hole. I spent much of the afternoon helping at Track and Field Day for Colfax Mingo Elementary, and the first day of the girls' state meet is completed. In Colfax, the tug-of-war winners were Miss Rollins' kindergartners, Miss Flattery's first graders, and Mrs. Engel's second graders. But what happened at state? The meet at Drake Stadium, the fastest time today in qualifying for the 100 meters in any class, belonged to Meredith Kosmachek of Tri-Center Neola. A 1A school Kosmachek timed 11:92. She's trying to break the Iowa all-time best of 11:8. Courtney Jacobs led all qualifiers in the 2A 400. Jacobs a part of the very strong contingent from Atlantic. Her time 57:79. And Milford Okoboji's Kristen Hansen easily won the 2A 3000 for the 4th straight year. She had the fastest time of all the classes, 10:01.98.
It's very difficult to try to run your very best time when you're by yourself, but I'll just have to be ready to run strong tomorrow and run my best times and just hope that I can repeat.
I'm pretty busy tomorrow and not sure exactly what I'm running yet, but whatever I put in, I'll do my hardest and get as many points as I can for the team.
And the meet continues tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning. Down in New Orleans, one pitcher trying to get back to the bigs and one pitcher looking for his first trip. That's Wade Miller on injury rehab for the Astros and Mark Pryor for the Iowa Cubs. Harry Canary, just one of the big names on hand at Zephyr Park. They wanted to see Pryor, who led all minor league pitchers in strikeouts, heading into the game tonight. A sac fly by Hesop Choi gave Iowa a very short-lived lead off Wade Miller, who hopes to get back to Houston soon. Miller would strike out Kamara Barti in the top of the second. It was not a spectacular start for Pryor. 4 innings, 6 hits, a balk, 4 strikeouts, and he took the loss. The PCL East leaders win for the 8th time in their last 10 games, 5-1 the final over the I-Cubs. The Chicago Cubs are definitely in need of something. Their losing streak reaching 8 tonight. The Cubs in Milwaukee. The Brewers already up 1-0 when Alex Sanchez clears the bases in the 5th. It's 4-0 heading into the 5th. Bill Miller launched a 2-run homer to get the Cubs to within 4-2, but that was all the runs for Chicago tonight as they lose again, 6-2. This is the Twins at New York. The Yanks put up a 5 in the 4th on a pair of home runs by Robin Ventura and this 3-run shot from Alfonso Soriano. Yanks up 6-3. But the Twins blasted back in the 6th, scoring 6. Buck Buchanan singling in one of the runs, 9-6 Minnesota, and it is now in the 11th inning. All knotted up at 9. Bernie Williams, 2 dingers in the game. And in a battle of division leaders in the AL, Seattle beat the Red Sox 3-0 Sox in the 3rd after the single by Tony Clark. But the M's scored 3 in the 6th, 2 on a single from Jeff Cirillo. Seattle doubled up on the Red Sox at Fenway, the final 6-3. After suffering a loss last night, Iowa had to pull off a tough one tonight to remain in contention in the NCAA softball regional in Iowa City. And the top-rated Huskers would eliminate the home team 3-0. A full weekend of boxing got underway at Seven Flags and Clive, the Iowa Golden Gloves. This is the 156-pound match between Lee Sandemeyer of Ottumwa in the red gloves and Brandon Bailey from Cedar Rapids. Sandemeyer gets the win. At 168, the refs stopped the fight in the 3rd round. Bo Feichter of Iowa City in the purple gets the decision versus Tom Gillespie of Iowa State. The championships are Saturday night, and we will be right back.
Today's Market Report is sponsored by the Des Moines office of A.G. Edwards & Sons.
John's back with our look at the weekend.
Okay, quick check on temperatures around the region. Cooling off already in the 40s around Winterset, Lamoni, and Albia. Your 5-day forecast. Highs only in the 50s tomorrow, 60s Sunday, low 60s for Monday.
It could be worse. Thanks, John. Coming up on Mr. Letterman, it has been a while since we've heard from one of his guests.
That's right. Tonight on The Late Show, Kathy Lee Gifford, along with comedian Brian Regan. It's coming up in about 30 seconds right here on KCCI. Don't forget the weekend news with all the folks here, and we'll see you again on Monday.
Have a grand weekend.